I'm not gonna argue here that Tower of Fantasy isn't a fun game at its core, but seeing comments like this accusing Genshin Impact players of being the party that is directly responsible for hacking the game and causing all of the drama that has happened over the last few days leaves me thinking to myself, what is wrong with some people?
Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment here to thank all of the absolute chads and chadettes that support this channel via Patreon. You're all freaking legends. Seriously, each and every single one of you. I would offer to give each of you a kiss, but I suffer from severe intimacy issues. Additionally, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest MMO gacha and gaming news, take a second here to follow Mrs. Stix and I over on Twitter. We tweet daily.
Now, admittedly, that is actually not the only comment that has been left in that video directly blaming Genshin Impact players for what has been going on over the last few days, but with over 460 comments in the 9 hours that this video has been online, it's a lot to go through. It's a lot to comb through to try and attempt to get the comments that are directly blaming them. I do not understand why this is happening. In what world would Genshin Impact players at this juncture feel threatened enough where they would attempt to hack Tower of Fantasy? Now, you know what? Despite Tower of Fantasy players literally lashing out, accusing and attacking Genshin Impact players for whatever their reasoning is, the Tower of Fantasy devs have released patch notes for the recent update that they pushed out after it was made very public that there were hackers out there that were completely destroying the inventory of players that A, either partied with them, or B, fought against them in PvP. These players would lose everything they had in their inventory and effectively could not play the game. I did a video discussing this over on my channel, and admittedly there has been both positive and negative comments left on it. Positive, agreeing that this is a terrible situation and that the developers, the publishers behind the game have handled it very poorly because they decided they were going to hold emergency maintenance and then delay that emergency maintenance for an entire 24-hour period, letting these hackers run rampant, letting these hackers attack, abuse, and delete the inventory of hundreds, if not thousands of potential players. And then there are people that are defending them, saying that now 24 hours is perfectly reasonable for an immediate emergency maintenance. And to that I would like to say, if it were you that were being hacked, your friends, your family that were the ones that were directly being hacked, and you had no idea what kind of compensation they were going to receive or if you would ever be capable of playing the game again, you would not be saying that. Now, the patch notes in specific go on to state, "Dear Wanderers, thank you for your support as always. Please check the patch notes below for today's maintenance. Thank you for your understanding, your patience, and your support. Bugs fixed. We fixed the issue where some items are stolen or lost in inventories under certain extreme conditions due to hacking for some players." I'm glad that, so yesterday they made a public statement where they said that the items just disappeared. They were not hacked, they were not stolen. But today they've addressed the fact that these items were in fact removed involuntarily from respective players' inventories as a direct result of hacking. But they do go on to state just for some players, and I guess they're trying to minimize the potential damage by claiming that it's probably a very, very small minority of players that were directly affected. After we noticed the problem, we checked and dealt with it as soon as possible. As soon as possible being, hey guys, you know what? We're aware that you're all being hacked, but don't worry, in approximately 19 to 20 hours, we're gonna take the servers down for an emergency maintenance. Yeah, that is as soon as possible. Not, oh shit, the players are being hacked. Quick, shut the game down, and then let's do it. Let's delay it for an entire fucking day. In this update, we also rechecked and repaired other parts of the game that are prone to problems. So the entire game. In any case, we apologize again for our technical issues and the problems it caused players. We're offering the following compensation: maintenance compensation, 200 dark crystals; bug fix compensation, 200 dark crystals. So a grand total of 400 dark crystals for players that didn't suffer from or were not affected by the hacking. So, you know, that's not bad. Players that affected by this issue compensation, we will verify by analyzing data, and after verification, we will make corresponding reissues and additional compensation for your lost items. Due to the high complexity of the problem, it will take at least 7 working days to complete. So what this means is that you, in essence, cannot play the game for the next week or more during this period. If you can confirm that you were affected by this problem and have lost items, please contact the in-game customer service to report and verify your lost items to help us speed up the solution. So what they mean by this is there are probably going to be players that are potentially missed, that are skipped over, because they're going to be combing through this individually, and we know how incompetent these developers, these publishers are. They have expressed that we have experienced their incompetence firsthand. Again, despite the fact that it is at its core a fun game. I'm not saying this is a bad game. I know there are people that are down in the comment section right now like, oh my god, this is Stix is saying this is a terrible game, he's hating on it, blah blah blah. But you are going to have to wait a minimum of 7 days. So you could be waiting a week, you could be waiting multiple weeks to actually get back into the game. And this is for players that are aware this is happening. There are probably tons of players out there that have no idea why they lost their items and are looking at the game thinking to themselves, well, yep, that's about it for me, and probably quit the game permanently. Again, as a direct result of your guys' incompetence. At the same time, we will punish players that steal other players' items through hacking accordingly. And they do go on to state here, punish players, plural. So by this admission, they are claiming that there were more than one single player engaged in the exploitation and the abuse of other players. Essentially, what they're saying is, we know that you were hacked. We decided we're gonna wait literally a day or more to directly address the issue. We addressed it. Here are a couple dark crystals. For those of you that have been directly affected, sucks to be you for the next week, maybe the next couple weeks, but you know, check back eventually and see if you can continue playing the game. No, that is unacceptable. I'm sorry, but no, come on. Now, if you're no longer capable of playing Tower of Fantasy, or you're no longer interested in Tower of Fantasy, absolutely no problem. I hear you. I got a game on screen right now that is going to absolutely take 2023 by storm. This is a gacha game that you need to be actively aware of if you're not already, or alternatively, I have 5 upcoming anime gacha games that are going to absolutely destroy the genre when each respective game launches, so go ahead and check that video out too.